straight up 9 o'clock. So before we get started in our fun day that we have planned today, gratitudes and wins. Who's got some good things to share?
Okay, I've got a really silly one, but I threw out some pants today. I've decided that I don't have room in my life for things that don't serve me. And I had some pants
Yeah.
that just look stupid no matter what. I can never find the right shirt, but I just stand there and try to make them work. And I'm like, I'm done with
Mhm.
this. Why are these even in my closet?
Good for you. And that's not silly. That is, man, as someone who has kept every size of everything because, I'll fit into that again one day. Or it's the other way, like, I need comfy ones just in case. Like, why do I need all this stuff? But then I'm like, oh, well, I feel bad if I throw it away. Why? They don't have feelings. I have the hardest time getting rid of things. So good job. That's amazing. Who else? Gratitudes and wins.
I'm thankful that I have my three grandkids here, which you can hear their
Yeah.
things in the background, but thankful for that.
Nice. This week, mine is, man, I love that this job, this career lets me do the things I need to do for my kids. This week, my oldest has had strength camp at Texas Tech every day. My second oldest has had summer workouts at middle school every day. My youngest son had gym. He does 4 hours of gymnastics every day except for Wednesday. So he's been there every day. So Ada has been coming with me. Today, both of the twins are with me. I'll pick others up and take them. But man, I thought about it this morning, like how grateful I am. If I had a regular job, my kids wouldn't be able to do all this. They'd be just sitting at home all day, every day, all summer. So, man, I'm incredibly grateful for that. Rochelle or Ramil, you don't have to. It's not Friday, but if you want to. Okay. Well, last week we had a lot of fun with the objection handlers game that we played. Ramil was our big winner, and I still need to text him about his prize. But last week we focused on buyers and overcoming objections that we're hearing from a lot of buyers. And this week we are going to talk sellers. So just like last week. I'm going to keep track of who responds. There will be another winner. Okay. I hope Rochelle and Ramil, I hope y'all are able to jump in. But because there's going to be another prize, or Ramil, if you win today, you get a double prize. Because today it's all about sellers. So big objections that we are hearing today from homeowners and why they aren't selling right now when some of us need extra listings or listings that are going to move. So I will play the seller. I'll throw out an objection and I'll keep track of who responds. But y'all just jump in, raise your hand, or just start talking, and we'll see who wins today. So, all right, y'all ready? I literally there they are. Okay, I have my list pulled up here. Okay, my first objection as a homeowner not wanting to sell today is, man, interest rates right now are like almost 7%, and I locked in at a 2%. So why would I leave that?
All
Okay,
right, I guess I'll go. Or so, who said that? I'm driving, so I can't see.
Hmm. Ramil, you're up. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, we kind of touched on it this last week when we were talking about buyers, but so yeah, so I would basically have the conversation, again, and this would be a point where I'd bring it back to their pain point. Obviously, we're talking about selling for a reason. Um, for this example, I'll say, well, you guys have outgrown your house, right? The interest rate is what it is. I know you will hear, later on, there's a chance it'll go down. Nobody has a crystal ball, so we don't know that for sure. But um, we do know that your house is just not working for you anymore. And right now, the most important thing is to get you guys into a house with a payment that makes sense for you guys. There's different things we can do um, on the buy side to make that work, whether it's concessions from other sellers to buy down your rate, different things like that. But the ultimate thing is we're here looking at houses because, you know, your house just does not suit you anymore, and we need to get you into a place that does.
I love that. Ramil, you're so good at always going back to the motivation. Like you, I can tell that you probably spend a lot of time getting to know people and finding out their pain points because you're so great at always taking it back to that. So good job. Anybody else before we jump on to the next one? No?
I
Okay.
think
Oh,
I think it's always important to go back to the motivation. You got to find out what their motivation is and bring it back to that, um, whatever it is. Because if you don't have a motivation, then there's really not a they're not really wanting to sell. I mean, they're just picking it, you know. If they don't have a motivation, then you don't have a real reason for them to want to sell. So you don't have anything to go back to. Why are you selling? What is your motivation to sell? So, I mean,
mhm.
Ramil hit it right on the nail to you know, find out why they're selling and go back to that.
Yeah. I think with anything, right, buyers or sellers, we are not going to serve our clients very well unless we know the why. Not even that, but think about agents that we work with every day, like agents that are on our team. We aren't going to really be able to help them grow and expand their business the way that they want to if we don't really understand their why, right? Because just like for us, there's days that we wake up and we're like, I don't want to make the calls. I don't want to do the things. But if you're connected to your why, if you're connected to your agent's why, you can say, oh, hey, but don't you want to get here? Don't you want to do this? That's not a seller thing, but no matter what, it all goes back to the motivation, to the why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, here's one that I had last week. I was showing she's a buyer, but she has to sell her house. It's going to be a contingent offer. She's like, man, I'm so afraid. I love this house. I want to make an offer, but I'm terrified to put my house on the market until I find something because where am I going to go? Down here, for some context, if you're making a contingent offer and your house isn't even on the market, most people won't even look at it. It's probably the same up there. So she's like, I don't want to put my house on the market until I know that I've got somewhere to go.
I'll go. So you're what I'm hearing you say is you're afraid that you're going to be homeless, that you're not going to have anywhere to go, and your house is going to sell.
Hmm.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Do you understand how subject to sale offers work in our area?
No, this is really the first time we've made a contingent offer.
Okay. Okay, so typically what's going to happen is you're going to make an offer on a property. It's going to be subject to your home selling. And a seller is going to look at that and want to have a little bit of security that you're really serious and you're not just making an offer and tying up their home, right?
Hmm.
So let's flip the cards here. If you listed your home and you got an offer from someone that was subject to their home selling and they hadn't put it on the market yet, would you feel confident that they really wanted to buy your home?
Because with us making a contingency as well, that would really worry me. I don't want to look at a contingent offer coming in.
Right, right. And if let's say your offer wasn't even contingent on your buy, you had cash, you were ready to go, but you had someone
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
that was making an offer on your house, would you feel like they were well qualified and really serious about your house if they hadn't listed their home yet?
Hmm. Probably not. There's
Okay.
too much risk there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, now tell me what you know about putting your home on the market subject to you finding home of choice.
Oh, I don't know anything about that actually.
So there's actually an option too where you can put your home and list it and make it subject to you finding your home of choice. So typically you're going to have a time frame. Someone's going to make an offer on your house and you're going to have a time frame of maybe it's 2 weeks or 30 days to find your next home. Now, if you don't find your next home, that doesn't mean you have to stick with that offer. Then you have the option to, remove that offer. It would be, to be removed from that offer, but it gives you a little bit of security in that, hey, if I don't sell my home, I don't have to be homeless. Is that something you might be interested in hearing a little bit more about?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. That's also not a Texas thing, and I wish it was.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Why? I mean, I don't understand why you couldn't do that. Like there's all kinds of contingencies on a house.
So in Texas, we are very buyer friendly. And so
Yeah.
once a seller accepts a contract, the seller can not terminate without risk of a lot of issues. I mean, if I've had one seller in 10 years terminate because they just changed their mind, they had to refund earnest money, option money, pay for inspections, everything to avoid a lawsuit because sellers can't terminate.
Okay.
Even if
Okay.
they
So
put that in a contingency?
We don't have seller contingency like that.
okay. So let's flip the script then for Texas. So we've have you looked at the market, kind of seen what's out there right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we've talked about probably a good 10 houses that would fit your
Yeah.
requirements, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So do you feel if you had like if you were to put your home on the market and you were to ask for a closing date of 60 or 90 days out, a longer closing, do you feel like you might be able to find what you want within that time frame?
I think so. That would actually, I mean, we can do that. We can ask for a longer closing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
You could ask for a longer closing. I mean, really the closing time frame is a negotiable on your contract, something that you negotiate. It may deter some buyers who want to close quickly, but if you're in a good, position and you've got a beautiful house that should draw in some interest, I think that would be something where people might consider that because they would want your house bad enough to be willing to take a little bit of time to close on it.
That is exactly what we did and what we discussed because she was like, wait, I can't, like, I can ask for that. And I said, absolutely. We can put in the closing remarks that you have to have this longer closing or in the private remarks on the listing. We can put that in there so that way people understand we can't close in 30 days. So that gave her the comfort that she needed to go ahead and move forward. So good. Very good. I wish that we had that seller contingency thing. That would be really awesome. But no, Texas doesn't do that. Okay. Anybody else before we move on to the next one? No. Okay. Oh, this one we're gonna love. There's always this big love-hate relationship with Zillow, right? We like the leads, but maybe we don't like some of the other things. So this one is super fun. Well, I hear what you're saying that my house should be listed at 320, but man, according to Zillow, it should be like 399. So I don't think I want to list with you when Zillow says I can get it for $70,000 more. I don't, is y'all's Zillow's estimates like way out of whack up there? They're pretty accurate.
It depends.
Okay.
Ours
Ours are crazy down here.
Yeah. So let me ask you, has someone from Zillow actually been in your home and taken a look at your home?
No. Mm-mm. They're
Okay,
just
so
looking, I
this
guess,
is,
at what's in the area.
okay. Okay, so this is really just an estimate based on AI or a bot that's figuring this out, correct?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do. My house, man, it is updated. I've got like some really pretty turquoise walls and some really awesome green carpet. Like it looks awesome. Like it's all brand new. We just did this last year. It looks good. So I should be able to get that 399.
You know what? I don't disagree with you. You do have a beautiful house, and I am confident we can find you a buyer for that house. But let me ask you, that property that we looked at last week, did you notice that it was listed at 425 on Zillow, even though it was listed at 399 in the MLS?
Oh, no.
So would you be willing to pay 425 for that property?
Oh, no, not at all. It needs a lot of work.
Okay. So what you're saying is maybe the Zillow estimate on that one is a little off.
Oh, well, I guess so. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Okay, and let's just look at the property Zillow's comparing you to. Let's see, you've got a 2-story, beautiful, beautiful 2-story. Did you notice this is comparing you to properties that aren't even like yours?
Oh, so it doesn't take things just, I figured it took things like in my neighborhood or in my area.
No, I think unfortunately the AI just isn't smart enough yet to do what a human can do. So it's taking things that are around your area, but with the data it has, it doesn't know how to understand if a house is exactly like yours. So what we've got here is it's comparing it to 3 different properties here. One of those properties is actually accurate and right within the price point that we're talking about. But these other 2 aren't even true comparables that an agent or an appraiser would use. So if we were lucky enough to find a buyer to pay that price, but that buyer gets a mortgage and an appraiser comes and looks at this property, do you think an appraiser is going to use those 2 properties as comps for that home?
I guess not.
So do you know what happens if a house doesn't appraise?
Well, I mean, doesn't the buyer just have to pay more and pay the difference?
So in theory, that is one thing that can happen. It is a negotiation point between the buyer and the seller. What we typically find is that sellers are going to have to come down on their price because an
Oh, yeah.
appraisal is going to give you the estimated or the value of that home. And most buyers aren't going to raise their hand and say, hey, this home's only valued at whatever, but I'm going to pay more for it. I'm going to pay more than what it's worth.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what about when buyers are looking around on Zillow and they see that Zillow says my house should be $399, but I only list it for $320. Aren't they going to worry that something's wrong with my house?
You know, if they've got a good agent, or what, they're going to be a well-educated buyer, and they're going to understand that Zillow is not the source of truth when it comes to pricing. So I think we're going to be okay with that. But what I would also say is most people aren't going to not look at a house because they fear something's wrong with it. We're going to get them into the house. We're going to do the right marketing to make sure that they understand the value of what's in here and what they're getting, versus scaring them away and making them think that something's wrong.
That makes sense. That's good.
You could also spin it the opposite direction of Zillow says it's $399 and you list it for $320. Zillow has also been wrong the other way. Zillow might say your house is worth $350, but it's actually worth $400. So why don't you get an actual professional in there that does this every day to run the real numbers for you?
That's good. Very good. Y'all are awesome. Do y'all practice these things a lot? Or just in general? Y'all communicate
Just
very
with real life people.
So those are awesome. So, okay, what about kind of in that same track, but we'll put Zillow aside for a second. Man, you're telling me right now that my house is worth $320. Well, that's what I paid for it 4 years ago.
That's a tough one. You know why? Because I don't see a lot of those right now.
I have one of those right now. Oh.
Yeah, that is a really tough one that I also have not seen.
Okay.
I don't know. It would have to be, just something along the lines of, man, I don't even know. You'd have to dive into, okay, obviously you can see this in the market. Um, you know, what we've seen historically is, especially in Iowa, real estate has gone up right around 3% every year. There are a bunch of different factors that play into that. And in some cases, houses just don't rise, based on external factors. You do have a lot of businesses coming up around your area that really doesn't make it a big desirable place for people to continue to build homes or grow. And I think that's where that's really hurting you a little bit. Now, obviously, it's not a decline, right? Your house isn't worth less, so it's not a total loss. But yeah, sometimes, this will happen. And I think as far as you're moving in next time, the last agent, maybe should have had a conversation with you about what's going on in the area. What are some values that you could see and what are the ups and downs of living here. And so as we move forward and you're looking for your next place, that's definitely going to be top of our list, right? Seeing, okay, what is the value we can have here? Is this place growing? We can even look back at other comps and say, within the last 3 years, have these houses grown in value? And those are things that I would suggest that we do, and just try to make a better informed, decision this go around. But ultimately,
what if you were also the agent that sold them the house 4 years ago?
Yeah, then if I was the agent, then I would just say, that's tough. I guess you could say, I messed up. I guess there's nothing else you really could say. Or you could just, I might spin it probably, just, ultimately, no matter what we price the house at, I could see comps. Everything could be right at the same time. When we bought it, the numbers could be right and we think we got it at a good value, but ultimately, your house is worth what, um, you know, a buyer is willing to pay for it.
Mhm.
So even though I'm running my numbers right now and they're saying, okay, maybe your house hasn't gone up in value. We could get somebody in here that wants to pay a little bit more for it, or we could get somebody that comes in and says, we like the value of what it is, and it's just a straight wash. But ultimately, yes, the people that are buying your houses, they determine the value, not really the CMA, other houses that have sold recently. It's whoever's willing to come in and what they're willing to pay for your house.
Yeah, that's good.
I can also see where this would happen. We were having the multiple offer deals going on, and then somebody
Mhm.
wants to sell their home sooner. So I could say, buyer, remember when we made the offers on this home, we spoke about, um, you know, the challenges you may have if you move right away and you thought that you were going to live here for a long while, but your circumstances changed and you needed to move sooner. When you have multiple offers and you need to make a higher offer, you have that risk when you don't live in the home long enough to, you know, for your for the, your home to grow in value. So
Mhm.
these are the things that happen. And you've only lived here a year and things have changed and they have not rose up, and your value hasn't changed, and that's why your home is still, the value hasn't changed that much either. And
Mhm.
you just kind of give them that, you kind of educate them and let them know that hey, you you were in a multiple offer situation and you chose to outbid somebody by quite a bit, and so you were actually going over market value by a little bit, and your value has not gone up in that home in that short time.
Yeah, that's good.
So I would go back to motivation
Mhm.
initially and then just acknowledgement, right? So I think I would acknowledge it. Yeah, I can imagine it feels a little disappointing to hear that your home hasn't really appreciated. As you've probably heard, the market has shifted quite a bit since you bought your home just a few years ago. And unfortunately, we're not experiencing that same level of appreciation that we were 5 or 6 years ago. So I can understand where that would hurt, but I think we really have a couple of options here. Um, you want to be closer to mom. You know that, you need to help take care of her. You could go ahead and list and kind of just know that you're going to likely have to take a little bit of a loss on that side of things, but you're probably going to get a better deal on the buy side right now. Um,
Mm.
or we can go ahead and sit tight and wait a while and see if the market changes, and wait a few more years before we get you closer to mom.
That's good. Always going back to motivation.
Yeah.
It's, I can tell you this one has been weird. They bought it. We have had to go back to, okay, let's look at the market and what it looks like when you bought it and why you bought it. He bought it for his daughter going to tech to play softball, and she graduated, and now the house is sitting here empty. And he didn't want something too close to campus, like he wanted her in a certain area. So just going back to like, okay, did it serve its purpose? Like, did you get out of it what you needed over this past 4 years? And was that worth it? That has been a lot of conversation around that. We've also, for the first time in 34 years, Lubbock has seen a decline in prices. Even through 2007, even through like all the different market changes, for the first time we have seen a decline. And so that has been a really tough conversation to have with people. Um, but once I got him to see, like, oh, this really was a great house for my daughter. I didn't have to worry about her while she was there. She wasn't in a sketchy area. He's like, you're right. I did get everything out of it that I needed. So now let's pass it on to someone else. So, but it's been tough because we're now listed slightly under what he paid for it. So it's super fun. Ugh. Probably one of the most challenging listings in a neighborhood that 2 years ago, people were just waiting for something to come on the market because it's one of the best neighborhoods in Central Lubbock. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think the best thing we can do is try not to over-explain or defend ourselves. Like
Mhm.
in reality, even if we were the agent that helped them buy, it might have been market value at the time. We can't control what happens in the market, but we can acknowledge their feelings. We can
Mhm.
ask the questions. We can help them understand the data. But I think at the end of the day, it's really just being there for them, giving them the information that is supporting that. And then just acknowledging like, yes, this sucks.
This sucks. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Okay, last one. We have 4 minutes. We can get this last one in. Okay, so I would like to sell my house, but one, I don't really have to right now. Like we're okay. Would I like to move? Yeah, but man, I've been looking around and all the houses around me, it seems like they've been sitting a lot longer. I don't want my house to just sit on the market.
I'd say that's where we have to come in and get a strategic pricing strategy. That's literally the conversations we're having with all of our sellers right now. I'm still giving them a selling range because I do see it could be here, but I'm suggesting we list at the lower range
Yeah.
because that's just how our market is. And when we're listing at the lower range, and sometimes even at a low range that feels a little too low, that's how we're actually getting these houses pending in a reasonable time.
Nice. Anybody else? Oh, hey.
I
This is
think
so
we have
fun.
to figure out if they really do have a motivation, because sometimes they say that, but they really do want to sell it. But we got to figure out what is really that motivation. Do they really want to get a larger home? Are they wanting to get close to mom? And so we got to ask the questions. Hey, so you're saying here that you're not, you know, what is your motivation? Do you Are you wanting to get a larger home? You want to get into a smaller home? Are you downsizing? You got to ask the question. So when you get a lot of times I'll ask it when they call. So what's making you think you may want to sell your home?
I think we're all of our kids have graduated and moved out. Like I think we're gonna just downsize a little bit.
Well, you are. So what areas are you looking in?
Um, that neighborhood over by Michelle that I can't remember with all those pretty new houses. I think there's one like
Oh,
next door to her. It's so cute.
oh, I bet you'd love to live next to Michelle.
I would love to
Um,
live next door to Michelle.
I bet you would. So how many, what kind of price, so what kind of you want a ranch? You want a two-story
Yes.
or
No, my knees are getting old. I
oh,
don't
your
need them
knees
in
are getting
stairs.
old?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how many bedroom?
I would still like 4 bedrooms, I think. So that way when the kids do come back to town, hopefully to visit mom, they have a place to stay. And holidays.
Great. Great. So why don't we meet and we'll kind of go over this thing. Let's focus on what you do, what you do want, and then let's focus on um seeing what kind of time frame there really is in selling your home and see what the value of your home. And maybe we can see if you can get a little more excited about selling your home. It might take a little longer, but I think we can have a strategy that maybe get your home sold, buy another home, and have you get excited about maybe moving next door to Michelle.
The more I think about it, the more that would be like pretty epically awesome. That
Yeah,
would
and even if
be,
it's
yeah.
not next door, maybe you can just get closer to, and then you guys can
No,
go
I
for
want to be
walks and
next
what have you.
door. We can take that fence down and just have one giant backyard. We're gonna have some great cookouts. It's gonna be a blast.
I bet it would. All right. Well, let's meet at 3 o'clock tomorrow. That work for you?
That would be perfect.
All right.
Oh.
Thanks.
So I love that you got me excited about where I'm going so that I didn't really care as much about my house sitting there. Maybe it takes a little bit longer, but I'm excited for that backyard barbecue.
I know you.
That'd be
Who wouldn't
fun.
want to live next to Michelle?
I know. It would be amazing. And the house really is pretty. Michelle, did it sell?
Yes, we closed on it a month ago.
Nice.
Hallelujah, a year later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, with 3 responses this morning, Michelle's our big winner for the day. So, Michelle, I'll text you later to talk to you about your prize. Ramil, I will text you today. So, y'all both get prizes today. I have some ideas. So, thank y'all so much. This is fun. I like doing this. I like being on the seller side and making y'all give the responses. So, y'all have an amazing rest of your week. We will see you this Friday. Bye.